correct all the time. You don't have to always have it figured out all of the time. It's okay. It's okay if you can't be at 12 things at one time. You have to be able to really realize what it is that's most important. You need to be able to prioritize for your life. Because there are some things that people want us to do that it's not really necessary. There are things that we desire to do that we can't do because of people wanting us to do things. So I asked my daughters at one time, I said, there are 3 things in life. There are 3 stages of life. There are the things that you desire to do, the things that you need to do, and the things that people want you to do. I said, what's your priority? The priority is always the things that I need to do. I need to work. I need to work to be able to live. I need to have income. I need to do those things. People want you to do some things. Well, people wanting you to do some things and things that you desire are kind of interchangeable, because sometimes we do things that people desire because we love them and we want to be there for them. But we still have to incorporate, number one, prioritization. Do I really need to go to this party, to my girl's birthday party, and I've worked 14 hours and I'm delirious? Maybe on my day off, I can take her to lunch. See, we have to start thinking wisely about how we utilize our time in order to take care of ourselves. So if there's an event coming up, you know it's coming up, you know you got to work the day before or the day after, you know it's going to really flip your world upside down. You know what, girlfriend? You know what? I've got to work that night. I'm going to be exhausted. I want some one-on-one. I want some me time with you. Let me take you to lunch. Let's go do breakfast. Let's go do dinner. So now you have utilized your time where you can also enjoy yourself as well. So that you don't get to the party, it's not what you thought. Somebody said something, made you angry. Now the whole thing is messed up and you're also tired. Okay? So prioritization is one thing as well. And that goes into admitting that you're not a Superman and you're not a Superwoman and you can't be everywhere at every time. And be okay with that. Just be okay with that. Be upfront. Say it. Sometimes we hem and we haw, and that's how we get into the wormhole too. Girl, can you be here? Man, can you show up for this? Well, you know what? Let me see. And you already know in your mind when they say it. You already know in your mind, that is just not going to work for me. I'm going to be tired. And so because you let the time go by, then now when it shows up, now you feel obligated that you got to go. Just say, you know what? I don't know. Let me get back to you. Just be honest. Say what you need to say, because as a caregiver, it is not just about you. It is about whomever else you are taking care of. If it's your children, moms, dads, whomever it is. Number 2, seek support. Caregivers really struggle with seeking support because you are so used to carrying the weight of the world. You're so used to carrying the weight of others and of people that you don't even think to ask for help. It's very, very difficult to ask for help for people. But I want to say this. You want to make a list of family and friends. And this one is very common. If you're caring for a family member, I don't care if you do have 15 people in your family, it's always going to roll down to one person. I don't know what kind of universal law that is. Now, I don't care how many people there are in the family. It just always filters down to somebody else. And usually how that happens is that all these other people have made the decision. Well, Michele is single, or Michele don't have nothing to do. She don't have no kids. All she got is a goldfish. All she got is a cat. She can do it. It happens all the time. So then I want to empower you to say back to those people, I can do it with help. So let's sit down and map out a schedule. You've got grandma this weekend. I'll take grandma next weekend. I'll take her to this doctor's appointment and you take her to the next. Okay, so I know I simplified that. I know that I did. I made that seem real simple for the family. I know it's not that easy. So if that does not work, then we keep it moving. If you are part of an organization, if you are part of a church, if the person that you're caring for is a part of an organization, sometimes you just need to have a conversation with those folks and say, hey, listen, he would love to see you guys. She would love to see you guys. Do you all have any support groups within this group? And say those things. And then often help is right there. When people say, what can I do to help you? Don't go, oh no, nothing, girl, I got it. Don't say that. Say, you know what? Girl, you make great spaghetti. I would really appreciate it. What if you don't have help and you're the only one providing support? What do you do? Well, that's one of the things that I'm talking about now, Tiffany. Hi, love. You know, maybe there are other organizations within organizations. So if that person is involved in something, if you have a girlfriend, maybe you can just say, listen, girl, you know what? When you go to the store this week, can you pick up 5-6 things for me? I just need to make some spaghetti. Can you just pick that up for me? If I give you the money, will you just drop that off for me? Ask. Because sometimes people don't know what to do. They don't know what to do, you know, and sometimes people will back away because they think you're going to say, can you come over and change a diaper? You know, and nobody's going to sign up for that if that's not their calling. So, you know, look at other things that you can ask people to do that may, you know, leverage the weight for you. Sometimes we don't utilize the people that are right there in our homes, our children. So sometimes we're just looking for the adults to do things. We sometimes have to rally our children. I took care of my mom, and my dad was in the home with me and my younger children at one point, and I had to rally my girls, and they were very, very young. You know, and so it's like, I need you to wash clothes. I need you to wash the dishes. I need you to put some rice on. I need you to do this. We're going to go see Grandpa, or we're going to bring Grandpa home. I need you to make sure the room is made up. Go make up the bed. Go, you know, it's like we have to say those things specifically. We can't say, well, I just need you to do something. It's like that same example when they say if you have an accident or you get sick in the middle of a public place, you don't say, help, somebody help, because everybody's going to expect somebody else to help. They say, look at somebody and say, go get help. I need you to help me, because then accountability is there. So sometimes we have to exactly say, you know what, I need you to buy the groceries. I need you to bring some groceries to the house this weekend. You know, or I need to go to the store and I need you to come to the house and sit. And then if it doesn't work with the family members, then we have to enlist those who we can. There are a lot of organizations. I'm not going to list anything. I started to, and it was so much. But the center of the City of Cleveland Senior Services and Resources. There's a lot of things. There's daycares. There are based upon income. They can have people that come in. There are a lot of programs that the person ambulates. There are programs that the person can go to. Because sometimes the people that we're caring for, too, they kind of start to debilitate because they can do some things, but if we just get used to like, okay, let me just take care of you. I know you're sick, and you just stay here. And sometimes we have to help them to reincorporate life. If they used to like to play cards, I know like in Bedford, I used to live in Bedford, and at the rec center there, they have a senior men's card group that meets weekly or daily or something. Just a bunch of older gentlemen come together and they bump them cards. You know, something as simple as that. So sometimes we have to just find those things that can help those people also that we're caring for. I hope that helped in some kind of way. Yes. So number 3 for caregivers, I want to encourage you to create a relaxation space. Create a relaxation space in your home or wherever you are. So when I say create a relaxation space, I don't mean, I mean just a corner in your home that nothing else exists. So you may have to move out something or whatever and maybe make it towards a window, have a chair. You might want to buy your own customized chair. You might want to go to the Goodwill and refurbish a chair if you're one of those kind of crafty kind of people and cover it. And get a little table, get a little tablecloth, a lamp, a candle, and make it your place. Get your own beverage glass, a special glass that you like. I have glasses that I like. I love to drink out of. Y'all see me every week. I'm always drinking out of this glass. I love stemware. I love stemware. So when I get my stemware out, that means I'm about to take care of business. I need to just don't leave me alone. Don't talk to me, you know. So So create this relaxation space, and you want to make sure that you have something there. Put a plant there. Get a Reiki dish, that's got the sand in it. Get your relaxation music, the CDs with sound and motion. And you all see me a lot of times down at the lake. I will do that. If I'm going down the street, or if I've got a lot on my mind, sometimes I will just pull over. I did it today for 10 minutes. Just went to the lake, got out, sat on the park bench, just breathed in some air, felt the sunshine. Just because I was going from one thing to another, I had to do a class, and I was like, let me just clear my head because I'm coming from one thing to the next. Then I came in and went back to work. So just those little deposits into myself. So if you can do that, part of that may be rising early. Part of taking care of you if you have to, let's say your children, go to sleep when you put the kids to bed. Unless you like to stay up late, and that's your private time. So if that's your time, just find your space, or try to go to sleep when they go to sleep, and then get up early before them, with the dawn and the birds chirping and the air fresh. I always feel like nobody else has breathed in that air when I get up early like that. So, you can try those things. Get your favorite coffee, simple things. Try something new. Try a new coffee creamer. You will be surprised at the smallest things that you can do for yourself, because you've got to do self-care. Buy nail polish. Gentlemen, go get that fresh cut in the middle of the day. Those who are taking care of children. And there are a lot of men who are taking care of spouses who are ill. And a lot of times men are forsaken in this. People just, don't think much about it, or don't think that there's a big demographic of men that are. But I know men who are caretakers, and it's very, very important for them to go to the barbershop and sit and just talk to the brothers, talk to the men, and have that time down, have that time away. So then that's where, you enlist other family members, and sometimes you have to enlist members. You have to broaden your circle of the family, not just your brothers and sisters. Maybe you got to get the person that you're caring for, get their brothers and sisters, get their nieces and their nephews. When you make this list of everybody that's available to you, when companies are looking for people to come work for them, they don't just look for the people that just are standing in the office. No, they have a database. Anybody who has come in contact with them, and then they start pulling. They go back into old records and start pulling those that may be fit for the job. You do the same thing. The same thing. Okay? So when you create that relaxation space, you want to also create a time frame for it. I always encourage people to, when you do that, when you're creating your time, don't necessarily tell people I'm off today. So for those who are caretakers and also work a job, so let's say you're going to take Tuesday off. You decide I'm just going to take Tuesday off. But don't tell everybody, girl, I'm going to be off on Tuesday, because guess what? Somebody's going to have something for you to do. They're going to call you. They're going to call you and say, yes, let's go do this and let's go do that. Sometimes you need to steal away. Go to a movie in the middle of the day. Let me tell you something. I am one of those people. I know the discount days of every day of the week at every movie. So it's like Mondays at Lake Shore. It's Tuesdays in Solon. It's Wednesdays at Valley View. Let me tell you something. Get you a schedule to take care of you. It's okay. Learn to love you and don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about it. Okay, so this will also help you to get better sleep. Now I'm about to say the E word, and I know most people struggle with the E word, but this is feel good exercise. Okay, I know after you have cared for people and you have ripped and run across town with children and spouses and everybody else, you don't feel like exercising. But what I'm talking about is exercising that feels good. I mean stretching, yoga. I mean, like, get you a mat, get you a pillow if you need to, because I've done it. I say I'm going to exercise, and I put my pillow on the floor. And while I'm looking at my movie, I lift and I raise my legs and maybe move my arms or whatever. But that's stretching. But you don't know when you're tense. When you're tense, the first thing you do is you almost go fetal. You just automatically your body starts to bind up your stomach and all of that. Your shoulders round, and you don't feel good. So, but when you feel good, the first thing you do is go. So even when you're exercising, you give yourself that. And deep breathing. Deep breathing is going to help cleanse your lungs. You'd be surprised how shallowly we breathe during the day. So sometimes when you just go, it cleanses the entire body. So when we're talking about breathing as well, you can use that time to meditate. I'm not saying you gotta go, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you can utilize that time, get in your place of relaxation that you have created for you. And let me tell you another place. When my girls were young, in the summertime, when it was summer, balmy nights like it is now, sometimes after I would get them settled, I would go out in my car. Because I needed to be outside of the house, because the house was where all the commotion was. So I needed to get to a place that was outside of that. And I would go in my car and just take a nap sometimes in my car. It would be so refreshing. Windows down. I don't know how safe it is to do that now, but I would be in my driveway, Make sure you got your pit bull in the yard running if you decide to do that. But I would do that, and I would relax in that night air and hearing the crickets and maybe just having some soft music on in the car was like being on the beach. It was like being in a different place. And sometimes we just have to move our location to get some freshness. I will say a place that I love to go late at night in the summer is Legacy Village. They have the fountains. It's beautiful. It's well lit. The restaurants stay open until 2 a.m. in the morning. You could just go out there and sit on a bench, sit by the water. These are simple things that are not going to cost you any money to do for yourself. Okay? Oh, and when you take off and when you go into your place of relaxation, turn your phone off. Yeah, cut your phone off too. So that you can, and I'm addicted to my phone. Social media is my thing. All through the night, I pick up my phone. My husband will won't talk about it. But even if you have to do a 10-minute countdown, and I had to learn that from my husband. It's like we would go out to dinner or something. He's like, I need you to put the phone down. So I'd have to learn to do that. So in today's day and time, we have to learn to put our phones down to relax and care for ourselves. Okay? All right. Number 6. I know I've been kind of like talking, so I kind of like rolled through them. Number 6, I want you to make a joy list. Make a list of the things that make you happy. Because when your world is crazy and you're angry and you're frustrated and sometimes you are just pushed to tears, you don't know what to do, bills are due, because you've got all these other things other than just caretaking, and sometimes all of these things come because you're caretaking. So when these things come, bills are due. You're tired. You've got to go here and you don't want to go here. You've got to deal with this. You've got to deal with PTA. You've got to deal with teachers. Your babies are tired. They're crying. Your husband is upset. Your wife is upset. Your job is on you because you're tired all the time. I would say make a joy list. And a joy list are the things that you can do or imagine that you're doing to relieve stress in a moment. When I was on my job, and sometimes I would be so frustrated and so fed up, and this was before I was going to transition, I would say to myself, I would get into a calm position. I say, you know what? What's the worst that could happen if I walk out of here today? I mean, it's like I would take like an immediate inventory of my life. What is in place for me? Michelle, you don't have to feel this frustrated. Get your head together. Get yourself together, because no matter what happens, you are loved. No matter what happens, you are cared for. You'll never be hungry. You'll never be homeless. Don't worry about it. Just calm down. So what it did for me is emotionally it de-escalated me. And so when I de-escalated, I could just like breathe, okay, girl, you can do this. What time is it? It's 2 o'clock. You only got 3 more hours. You're stronger than this. I would have these conversations with myself. It's okay, because guess what? When you leave here, you're going to leave this here, and you're going to go back to all of the things that are beautiful in your life. All of the things that are beautiful in your life. So if you have to write it down, if you have to put it on your visor, all of the things that bring you joy. I love painting. I love singing. I love going to concerts. I'm so excited that Euclid Beach is about to start in June. I think about it all the time. I'm like, on Fridays, I will be in Euclid Beach. That brings me joy. I love going to concerts. So when it gets crazy for me, I'll be like, you know what? Let me see what concert is coming. I choose to keep those things in front of me. I choose to keep those things. I choose to keep my future in front of me. All things that bring me joy. You know what? Today I'm here, but guess what? In 6 months, let me just start planning. And I would imagine, I would encourage you to get online. Everybody's got a smartphone, tablet, iPad. Start pulling up places that you would love to visit. Imagine. It doesn't cost anything to imagine. Go on a trip. You can pull up cruises. You can pull up islands. You can pull up tours. Just tour the world right here in front of you. We don't utilize the things that we have. These are things that will help you to... Danita, you want to be at Euclid Beach too? High five. So, and I know that you can attest to what I'm saying, Danita. So we do these things. We do these things to keep our minds, to keep our hearts, and keep our spirit. You can use some things like taking a walk, a long shower. Sometimes just being able to take a shower without somebody knocking on the door. When my girls were little, the bathroom was my solace. I would say, I'm going to go in here and I will be out. And then I would see little fingers under the door. I think sometimes now when they come over, they stand at the door and talk. So some things you can never get away from, but it's a little bit different now. Yeah, that one that's laughing, that's the one. So, you know what, sometimes getting in the shower, washing your hair, just taking that time, because as caregivers, everything is 5 minutes. Everything is 5 minutes. Everything we do is 5 minutes. So if you could get in there, maybe just stand in that water for a half hour, 20 minutes, a half hour, whatever, just let it just beat on you, whatever, or a bath. Go get you some bath salts, some candles. Do that when the house is empty. And then you know what? If you can't do it at home, caregivers, go get you a room for one night. I did that for my daughter one time. My daughter, who's a nurse, she was so tired. She was so burnt out. She needed a different environment. I said, you know what? I'm getting you a hotel room. I'm getting you a hotel room. So you can just sleep. You can get room service if you want, or you can go down to the breakfast. But she needed a different environment. She needed to de-escalate. She just needed something different. She needed to be in an environment where she didn't have to worry about when she cut on the light, oh, I got to pay the light bill. When she cut on the air, oh, I got to pay the electric. You know, oh, I didn't do this. Oh, I didn't do that. Because everywhere she turned was something to do. So if you can think about doing that, you know, there's Groupon. Maybe you could get, and I'm going to tell you, Groupon is wonderful because you can get downtown Marriott or Hilton sometimes on those Groupons for $69 or less, you know, if you just search for that stuff. Okay, so these are things that you can do for yourself. These are for moms too, the single moms too, because I know how difficult it is. I remember when my babies were little and it was really, really hard to get away. And then you don't want to, you know, ask people, can you keep my kids, you know, because they didn't want you to keep theirs. That's how selfish, because the whole idea is to get a break, right? You know, but, you know, if you've got children, you know, you still can find those times, and then when you raise your children to be mannerable, it's a little bit easier for people to say, oh yeah, they can come over. Oh yeah, I can do that. But I remember one of the things I used to do with my girls when I wanted a break, I would go to Movies 10, where they had all those different movies, and I would let them go in one, and I would go into another. Because I'm going to just tell y'all the truth. I'm just going to, so my moms with the little kids, I remember I was at one point, I said, Lord, if I see one more G movie, I just need a little R in my life. I mean, simple things like the plights of motherhood or caregiver, because you give everything to the people that you are caring for, and so you miss out on the simplest things. Okay, all right, I'm gonna wind this up. Okay, and so then the last very thing is that ground yourself in your faith, because you're not alone. Because when you ground yourself in your faith, when it seems like all else is falling apart, when it seems like the earth is coming from up under your feet, when you ground yourself in faith, when you know that you're not by yourself, that you can go to God in prayer, and that you can give that thing to him. There's an old hymn that says, oh, what things we forfeit, all because we do not carry all to him in prayer. So when you're meditating, that's meditating as well, because God is conversational. Just, Lord, this is a lot. How do I do this? I need some help. I need a break. God, please send somebody my way that will help me. And trust and believe me, God will. Because he did it for me. When I was at my wit's end, when we were in a very, very dark place, and I was very protective of my girls, I did not want to let them go anywhere away from me, because I needed them as much as they needed me. But there were times when I was so overwhelmed, I did not want them to see that. So I had to step out of my comfort zone, and I sought out safety for them. And I would allow them for one night at a time. And then that would give me time to just breathe. It would give me time to cry. It would give me time to sleep. It would just give me time to paint my nails or do nothing at all. Get up and eat and not wash a dish. Because if you're like one of those kind of people that every time you do something, just to do nothing. So again, I want to encourage caregivers that you are not alone. Take charge of your life. Take charge of being good to you and caring for yourself. Because it's the same example with the airline. If the oxygen comes down, you don't put it on somebody else. You put it on yourself first, so that you can help to care for the other person, because you've got to be strong. You don't want to be one of those caregivers who are gone before the people that you care for, because that happens often. Okay? So I love you all. I have walked this walk, so I know what it feels like. I know all of those emotions that get all wrapped up into it and all of that. But you are so much better, because you can care better for others when you care for yourself first. So as always, I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody has told you, you are phenomenal. You are fantastic. Remember to stand. Remember to strive. And always become alive. Till next week. Bye. Thank you for joining.